Joel,
there one thing that's more disappointing than another?
Just the loss in general kind of sucks, you know. Um, I would say that's probably the most disappointing part is losing.
Joel, Baker said you guys thought there were two PI calls on the same play in the final drive. Were you aware of that, and how frustrating does that make it when there was a big PI call on their end?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you see PI called, every game. There's big plays, and it's such a huge play. Like it's not like a 10-yard penalty or 15-yard penalty. It's like distance of the play, and we had a couple go against us today, and you give a guy a chance to make a play, and you like it called both ways. I don't know exactly what play. I mean, I saw the Higgins kind of got tackled down there a little bit, but those are tough. You want to try not to keep it in the ref's hands, but that's such a like. I mean, some of those are 50, 60-yard penalties and like can change a game. So it's a tough one not to have go your way, but we do have to execute better on our end too. We can't really rely on that.
How difficult was it keeping the line kind of together, knowing all the injuries that were going on?
Yeah, it's you try and run the ball, which we did a pretty good job for the most part. There's a little lull in the third quarter there, but Blake and James did a good job stepping in. I mean that's Joey Buss is one of the best players in the NFL, and for them to come in and fight their butts off, like it takes a lot of I have a lot of gratitude for those guys coming in and fighting. But yeah, it's tough when you see guys go down. I mean, all across our field, I felt like guys were falling left and right. It's tough when you're down a bunch of guys, but that's why there's backups. That's why you go out there and try and put the best 11 guys you have out there and really just try and go out there. But I do give James and Blake a lot of credit. Blake starting his first game. James came in and had to play again. Those guys really fought their fought hard.
You think there's a major takeaway that you guys can use positively from this?
I mean, we ran the ball well for the most part. I think it might not be a positive, but we just have to execute. You never know when a play is going to determine the game. We settled for a field goal there in the first half, and I think we turned the ball over on downs one time down in the red zone in the first half too, and that's at least a 10-point swing right there. So those are plays we want back, and we got to find a way to convert in the red zone, I think, as far as offense goes.
You guys were able to keep Baker pretty clean today with one hit, one sack. What would you attribute that to with all the changes that you guys have on offense?
It helps when you run the ball. We ran the ball early, so we didn't have to get in too many true passing situations. We try and give guys help when they had Bosa lined up on them. That's a good player, and I do think it's early game script where you run the ball, take play action shots, do those things. Less true passing situations where we're in those situations, and I think Bake did a good job of getting the ball out of his hands when nothing was there.
How does Chubb and Hunt how do you feel they kind of make you guys look during the game when they have a big yardage pickups like this? I think they average 6 yards carries or something like that.
Yeah, it's fun blocking for those guys, man. Chubb's kind of the silent guy, and he just does his job every time and runs the ball hard. And then you bring Kareem in, and he just runs angry, man. He finishes runs, and those are two guys that are really a pleasure to block for. And I know they help us out and make us look like we're doing a good job out there.
When you're in a game like this, all those yards, all those points, is your head spinning? I mean, what's it like kind of being out there while all that's going on?
You just focus on the next play. That's what we try and do on the sideline. We focus, and we're like, we need to score. We need to go down and score again. So let's focus. Let's catch our breath. I think that was probably the tough part in the third quarter. We had a couple 3-and-outs, I think, and they scored a couple touchdowns to get back in the game. We just had to focus on really the next play and the next drive and try and compete. It felt like a little collegey. I had some college games where you have some shootouts where you get in the 40s and 50s. But we just had to execute a little bit better.
When you look at all the fourth down tries, 2-point conversions, literally shoving the running back into the end zone so you can get the ball back, it just feels like this game was played at a different level in terms of analytics, mentally. Is this where the game is headed?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have two smart organizations. You want to capitalize on all the chances you can have. I was surprised they even ran the ball down there. I think you take a knee there. But our defense did a good job of we've talked about it. You know, Coach Stefanski's talked about it of running the ball. And I mean, they had that drive where they got maybe converted 2 or 3 fourth downs, and like some of those weren't like 4th and inches. You know what I mean? Like 4th and 7 and stuff. And they, you know, converted plays. But I think if you look at how the game flow is going and when teams are scoring points, you know what I mean, there's a time to go for it. And you know, we know Coach Stefanski's not scared to go for it, and we appreciate that. And their coach obviously is not afraid to go for it either. It's just one of those situations where, you know, it's probably headed towards that direction.
What do you think of Baker's day? Obviously, he was trying to shake off the, you know, what he was upset about in Minnesota, and then on the other side, just the way Herbert kept coming back at you guys. What impression did that leave you with?
Yeah, I mean, we know Baker's going to bounce back. That's who he is, you know, anytime. NFL's a tough league. You know, you're going to have bad games. Every player is. And, you know, I got my money on Baker to bounce back anytime like that. I thought he played really well. And Herbert's a great young quarterback. I mean, we saw it last year. We saw it this year. Like, the guy, no moment's too big for him, and they did a great job of moving the ball. But I think it just shows, like, 2 young quarterbacks that, you know, week to week, it's a tough league, but those guys are going to come and answer the bell, you know, more times than not.